All right, everyone, I've got a really cool Python use case for you today. Okay, I researched this yesterday. I found some crime data about New York City, and this is near and dear to me, literally and figuratively. I live right by New York City, one stop away on the 7 train from Grand Central Station. For all intents and purposes, this is New York City. We certainly pay New York City taxes. Hooray, paid for that. And we're right by New York City, right? You can be in Grand Central in 5 minutes on my local train. I live close to the 7 train stop on Vernon Jackson. So I see this all the time in the news, in the newspapers, on Good Morning America, um, Fox, uh, Today Show, all these things, right? Like this is right in your face. You can't avoid it. So crime is running rampant in New York City post-pandemic. Before the pandemic, actually, it was kind of under control. I think Giuliani did a fantastic job decades ago when he was mayor. Bloomberg was mayor for 12 years. He did a great job. De Blasio, not so much in many people's opinions. I won't really get into all the politics and all the bureaucracy behind that. I think De Blasio probably dropped the ball, and I think a lot of people would agree with that statement. Anyways, Mayor Adams came into office a couple of years ago, and he's been trying to clean up the mess from De Blasio ever since. I tip my hat to him. I think he's done um, a decent job, kind of suitable, but there's a long way to go between de Blasio and the pandemic. Things really unraveled, and we're really in a dire state right now. Although for the size of the city, crime is relatively low compared to some other cities around the U.S., where the population sizes are much smaller. So relative to the size of New York City, crime I think is still somewhat de minimis, but it's way worse than it was 5 and 6 years ago before the pandemic hit us like a ton of bricks. Okay, so I decided to do a quick analysis on the crime rate across the 5 boroughs and see what I can come up with, see what kind of results I can produce, and see what kind of recommendation I can offer. Um, so let's jump into it and stick with me to the end here. I think you're going to learn a lot, and I think the insights are going to be um, very interesting, eye-opening, and very quite fascinating too. Okay, so why would we even analyze crime rates around the 5 boroughs of New York City? Obviously, to try to prevent crime, right? To understand it and try to prevent it. If you can't understand anything, you can't solve the problem. If you can understand the problem, you can start to come up with solutions. So identify crime hotspots. We're definitely going to do that. Predict crime trends. We'll try to do that. Support policy decisions. Optimize patrol routes, yes. Resource allocation, absolutely. Public awareness, urban crime mapping, yep. We're going to do all of these things. So sit tight and let's get into it. I downloaded a file called Crime Map. You can see it here. I have a reference to it right at the bottom of my Jupyter notebook here. And this is a source right here. If you go here, I'll just show you here. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. But if you go here and download the CSV file, you will have all the data that you need to reproduce the analysis I'm doing right here. So let me take a quick look at this thing. Loading, loading. Okay, I think where did this even come from? Filter, visualize, embed, about, um, export. I think export. Here it is. Okay, so export CSV. That's where I got the file from. Okay, so that reference point is right here. You can get that at the end of the analysis here. So I download the file, I'm reading it into my data frame, and this is what it looks like. I'm printing all the columns here, and then this is the head of the data frame. So we have some data over here. This is the borough, the date of the complaint, uh, complaint filed, maybe FR is filed, I'm not sure. Complaint uh, is it the timestamp, okay, and then what was the action taken? This is completed, jurisdiction, um, description. Okay, this is a description of the crime. And then we have over here PD. I think this is police department description. We'll look at these. Type of description. I'm not so concerned about street or residence. Things like that don't really bother me. Latitude and longitude, that's very important. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. So we are going to go ahead and load the data. And as I recall, this load's kind of slow because I have a T14 laptop. It is a solid state hard drive, so it's kind of fast. But when you get into now analyzing some of these big data sets, it's actually not that fast. So I'm not going to run the code, but you can see I ran it earlier today. It probably took maybe 35 or 40 minutes to crank through everything here. So I'm not going to rerun it because I don't want this video to drag it on and on. and I don't think you want that either. I'll take you through the steps, and I'll share all this code source with you, like I do with all my videos. I'll share all the source code so you can copy and paste it and run it in your own Jupyter environment, or copy and paste it and put it into Spider. You can run in Spider. There's a few IDEs that you can run all this Python code in. So just take your pick, go with your favorite one. I'll give you all the code. So all you have to do is copy and paste. That's it. Okay, pretty simple. So we are going to create some feature engineering um, columns here, or new features from existing feature. We have this feature right over here. I showed you this is a timestamp, I think. Where'd it go? Yeah, okay. So we have timestamp here and the date over here. So I want to create 3 new features: hour, the day of the week, and the month of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and get the df complaint fntm. That is this right here. And I'm going to convert that into hour, and then day of the week comes from FRDT, and then FRDT, month, day of the week. So we set the date, okay, and here's the time. So we're going to get hours from this, hours of the day of the week, and the month of the year from that. So I'm not going to run it, but you can see down here, when I run the code, I get exactly what I just described. So we had the latitude, longitude combined. Then we get the hour from this guy right here, okay? The day of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so on and so forth there. And then the month comes over here. And you'll see why in a moment. That's important. We are going to value, no, I'm sorry, we're going to not value count all the hours, and count up those hours, and um, make sure we pick up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So all the days of the week. These are all the months of the year, and we're going to count the day of the week. That's why we're doing this, and count the month. That's why we're doing that. And we are going to have, oh yeah, so we have the month and the day of the week. Oh, and the hours. So we're counting these 3. We're counting hours, counting days of the week, Monday through Sunday, and then months of the year, January through December. And we're going to print a nice little chart. So what does this mean? We have this number of crimes, and this data, like, let me take a look at this quickly. I think this is what, 2023, 24. I can go up and look at this quick. This is 24. Okay, so it looks like 24 data. And I'll tell you that the data looks a little bit wackadoodle. At one point, we're going to see why in just a minute here. This is 11% loaded, a little bit slow. That's why I told you. See, tell you guys the truth. I give you straight up what's happening here. This thing is slow. So let's count by hour. We can see by midnight, this is 0 hours. This is 1 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3. This is 24 hours. So it dips down here by 3, 4, 5. So this totally makes sense to me. We have 6,281 crimes throughout 2024. The lowest at 5 o'clock in the morning, presumably because most people are sleeping. Most normal people are out, not carousing around. They're sleeping. They're not committing crimes. As the day breaks and we get into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is a big spike around 12. There's some crime here. It dips down a little bit. I guess people get hungry for lunch, so they're not committing crimes. Then they're done with lunch. They're back to their criminal escapades. 15, that's 3 p.m. 16, 17, okay, and then people are getting hungry again, so they go home for dinner and they stop committing crimes, okay? So that's kind of trying to be a little bit humorous here, but that's basically what happens, right? In the middle of the night, not middle of the night, but 5 o'clock in the morning, people are sleeping, they're not committing crimes. This finally loaded up. I actually forgot. I even made that request to load. Let me look at some of these dates over here. I think it goes throughout 2004. If I put a filter on, let's look at the minimum. And of course, we could do this in Python too. Oh, this is interesting. So this goes back in time. Oh, years and years. Okay. Okay. Got it. So years and years worth of data. And we have a total of about 433,000 records. If I go down here, we have 433,000 crimes going back to the 1960s. Okay, so it's pretty comprehensive. I didn't even know it went back that far. But anyways, here's the hour of the day plotted in our chart. So this makes sense. Early in the morning, there's not too many crimes. Later in the morning, there's more crimes. Mid-afternoon, early evening, there's more crimes. And then people get tired. They have to go to sleep. So the crime spree winds down. Now we have crimes by day of the week. This is exactly what I would expect here. So the hour of the day has a big impact on whether or not people are committing crimes. The day of the week has no impact. It's like this a little bit on the weekends, just to be a little humorous. Maybe people need some walking around money for Saturday and Sunday, so they're committing more crimes. I don't know exactly where it's up a little bit on Friday, but you can see it's pretty consistent across the days of the week, very inconsistent across the hours of the day, right? So people are tired, they're sleeping at 5 o'clock in the morning. That makes sense. Here, people are up and about 7 days a week, and crime is being committed like any day of the week. There's no preference for any given day for crime. Maybe Sunday is down a little bit. Maybe a few more people are going to church, but Friday, there's a little bit spike up to offset the decrease on Sunday. Okay, so that's pretty even. Now this is interesting. I think this is a data quality issue. There's no reason whatsoever that the Council of Crimes would fall off a cliff from September to October. I think it's a data quality issue, or um, NYPD just wasn't recording crimes by the time they got to October. I'm not sure why. I can almost guarantee in October and November there's more crime than in September, because over here we're heading into daylight savings time, and it's a known fact. The day after daylight savings, when it gets darker earlier in the fall, when we put the clocks back, remember, fall is back and spring is forward. The day that we set the clocks back, that Sunday, there's always more crime because it gets darker earlier and people commit more crimes when it's dark. Okay, that's a fact. That's a given. So I don't know why these numbers fall off October, November, December. It looks very bizarre. I would say there's a data quality issue. I'm just using what I've got here. I didn't create the data. I just downloaded it from that site that I showed you, and I was saying crime is way down for October. This must be a mistake. That's all I can make of it. I don't know why it would be down for October. It makes no sense. So let's look at plotting again. We're going to do these bar charts, but this time we're going to add in the category of the crime. Okay, so the law CAT means category, CD charge or something like that. I don't have the data dictionary, so I don't know what law CD is. I think it's the law category and some classifier or whatever it is. So we're going to look at some stacked bar charts again by the day of the week, by the month, okay, and by, I think we have the, do we have hour of the day? Maybe we don't. Maybe we just have those two. Okay, so by category stacked here, we have FE, MI, and VP, right? This is a plotly chart, so it's interactive. If I click on any one of these, it disappears, and I click again, it comes back. So these show us the categories of um, of legal infractions here. So red is felony, blue is misdemeanor, and green is a violation. These are kind of broad categories. You can see again, 5 o'clock in the morning dips down. Rest of the day, it's pretty flat, pretty normal. Day of the week again has no effect. That's exactly what I'd expect. Now these should be pretty normal and pretty linear. There's no reason why in October it would drop off unless we have a data quality issue. That's the only thing that makes some sense to me. Otherwise, I have no idea why we're not picking up October, November, December. It looks like a total mistake. But the first 9 months of the year look pretty normalized to me. So here we have the offense description. So this is a little bit more detailed than what we see over here. We have felony, we have misdemeanor, and we have violation. But what do those mean, right? There's a lot of descriptive categories within those parent categories. So these are sort of like the child categories. These are the parent categories over here, right? So if you drill into one parent, we should be able to see the children. We scroll down here and we can see the descriptions over here. So we see here, this is other offense related theft. This is miscellaneous penal law, public ordinance. This is petty larceny. Go down here, harassment, 2, robbery. So you can see these color bands correspond to the type of the description of offense here, right? So here's offense and description, OFSN, OFNS, and the description, and we have the key to all these on the right. Again, if I click on that and then it's going to disappear, I click again, it comes back, and dangerous drugs. Where's that gray one? I was looking for a big gray bar over here. Maybe escape 3? No, it's tiny. Okay, so anyways, you have all the details of the offense stacked up here. So the days of the week totally make sense. The month of the year makes sense for the first 9. The last 3 don't make any sense. I think there's a data quality issue. That's fine. So let's get into plotting a scatter plot map using the latitude and longitude coordinates, okay? And we're looking at the broader category, the parent category, like I said before, misdemeanor, felony, or violation. And again, if you click any of these, it drops off the map, and you click it, and then it comes back onto the map. If you want to see only misdemeanors, that's what you have here. These are felonies, and then these are all the violations. And there's a slight lag there because The computer is a little bit old and slow. It's just getting tired now. It's probably time for an upgrade pretty soon. So there is lat longitude plotting of all the crimes. So let's move down a little bit more and look at clusters of crimes. Again, plotting based on the data frame, the latitude and longitude coordinates. And we are going to take all those coordinates and cluster those into k number of coordinates. We're going to say, give me 1,500 different um, types of categories of crime, right? And that's what we see over here. So if let me see if I can zoom into the map. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So here's my zoom. And if I zoom in a little bit, I love these plotly charts because they're very interactive. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, put your mouse over the top, and you can see all the details. So there's 426 crimes, 170, 245, 80, and 69. And the size of the circle corresponds to the number of crimes, right? So the diameter of the circle, or the edge to edge size of the circle, is relative to the number of crimes committed in that latitude, longitude coordinate system right there, right? And with the higher counts being the light yellow and the darker counts being a dark purple and magenta being in between, right? So that is very interesting. That's very useful. I think if we go over here, we have another chart over here. Let me try to double click on that and blow it up a little bit or drag it. This should let me zoom in, I think. Okay, there. Zoom out just a tad. So this, I think, is the first real meaningful, interesting chart that we see. We're looking at density map plot. Okay, this is called a cluster, right? These are, scatter map box based on clusters. These clusters over here, with clusters being 1,500, 1,500 different crime categories, right? But I think this chart is actually more interesting, and this is where the rubber starts to meet the road. So before we're doing EDA, exploratory data analysis, to try to understand what's the meaning of the purpose of this data. How can we draw insights from the data? How can we extract something useful and make an informed, intelligent decision about the data that we have loaded into this data frame and into this plotly map? So that's where we are, and you can agree or disagree. It's a free country, right? But I think we're starting to get something that's very useful and very interesting here because we're looking at longitude, latitude, right, by the hour of the day. So I think we're finally starting to get something useful. Before we're looking at the color was the counts, right? That's how we get the size of these circles over here, the counts of crimes in that vicinity. Now the Z coordinate is based on the hour of the day, and you can see like late at night, this is 24 hours, right? So midnight through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 5 a.m. 10 is 10 a.m. 15 is 3 p.m. 20 is 8 p.m. As these colors get lighter and lighter, if I zoom in, you can see a lot more crimes are occurring in the later part of the day. After 3 p.m., we get into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is 20. By the time we get to 8 p.m. and midnight, there's a lot more crimes over here. And you can see the neighborhood where these crimes are concentrated right here. So you see a little bit Times Square, a little bit out here in Queens, a little bit over here in the Bronx. Down here in Brooklyn, you can see some yellow. Let me zoom out a little bit. Right, so we're starting to see a very interesting picture, I think, but we still don't have all the information we need. We have longitude, latitude, we have the hour of the day, but it's not enough. I still don't have enough to make a really intelligent decision here. So let's continue with the analysis. But I think we're getting close, right? So we have a eureka moment based on time of the day and the longitude, latitude. I think we're starting to get some really good insights about this data. So let's follow through with 4 steps. We're going to group similar longitude, latitude coordinates together. So we have, like you saw before, about 433,000 data points, I think, right? So 433,000 different longitude, latitude coordinates, that's a lot to get our arms around. But if we can take that, right, get our arms around this beast, this behemoth that we're trying to deal with, that we're trying to tame, and say everything within 20 meters, 20 square meters is consolidated into one single longitude, latitude address, we can take this primary longitude, latitude address and say, this is a focal point where we have to send the police teams and make a dispatch to this general vicinity. Okay, within a 20-meter range, we're going to be pretty close to the center of where most of these crimes have occurred. And if it's a dark purple or a low frequency count for crimes, we're not too concerned. Maybe that was a one-off. Maybe that was just a random act of violence or something, right? But if you have repeated offenses in these light yellow bands over here, that's where we have to concentrate the police efforts, right? That's where we have to dispatch the troops in the highest concentration because that's where the crimes are concentrating. Okay, so we're going to aggregate the description of the crime. We're going to aggregate longitude, latitude coordinates based on a 20-meter range. Okay, anything within that 20 meters is going to be consolidated into one specific longitude, latitude coordinate, and then we're going to show the results of these crime scenes in descending order of the rank. Okay, so we're going to rank all these and sort them in descending order. So we're going to go ahead and clean up all these coordinates. Okay, that's what this code is doing right here. And we're going to create this data frame right here. So we went from 430,000 crimes down to 108,314. So we cut the number of longitude, longitude coordinates by 3/4, right? So now we're dealing with 1/4 of the original um, latitude, longitude coordinates. Okay, so we're getting it down to a more um, a more consolidated, concise, distilled data frame where we can actually manage this, right? To manage 433,000 records is a little bit unwieldy. If we get it down to just over 100,000, we can manage this data set a little bit more efficiently, okay? So now we're going to look at the distance threshold. Like I told you before, the Earth radius is this much. We're going to divide the distance threshold by the Earth radius, right, to get this down into a meaningful metric that we can manage and get our 20 square meters, like you saw over here. We want to get 20 meters for a bunch of crime scenes, but just one. We'll label it as one scene, so we know everybody's on the same page. We know exactly where to go. What's the latitude and longitude coordinate that we have to make a dispatch for NYPD to get to. Okay, so we're doing a few group bys based on the latitude and the longitude. If these are substantially similar, we're going to combine those into one latitude and one longitude. Okay, so we're taking 433, condensing that into about 100,000. That's what the group by is for. Okay, and then let me see if I can find 20. Where's that 20 again? Is it coming? Oh yeah, distance threshold equals 20. Perfect. So we have 20 meters diameter. That is going to show us the circumference of the circle, and within that circle, we're going to have one latitude and one longitude combined. So if we have 20 different lots of lawns that are combined into one, we have one spot just so we know where to congregate, consolidate, and focus all of our efforts. Okay, so that's why we have the 108,000. Then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the description of offense. This is offense description and crime count. So we're going to take a bunch of offense descriptions. If we look at that over here, that is coming up right about here. Okay. So we're going to take these and consolidate that into a list with these longitude, latitude coordinates consolidated over here. Okay. So we see 4673 minus 73, 964. Okay, you see that 46714, 46714 minus 73913. Okay, so everything looks to be in good shape. We're going to consolidate that again based on the offense description. Okay, and we get down to 75,000, almost 75,000 records. So we went from 400,000 down to about 100,000 based on the offense description. Now we're down to 75,000 coordinates, and you can see how these are coming up over and over again. So that's that, because these are substantially similar coordinates. I can say take everything within a 20-meter diameter and everything within that circle, the diameter of that circle, or the diameter is and the circumference is the area of the circle, and label that as one crime scene. Now we have crime count 269 plus 4 plus 7 plus 24 plus 1. That's how we get 362 because we're taking all of these lat long coordinates, consolidating that into one, and then we're going to say 269 petty larcenies. We have some 4 felony assaults, harassment 7, burglary 24, burglars tools 1. But again, everything is tied. All these crime count metrics are tied to one lat long coordinate. Okay, so we're in good shape. Now, at this point, we have 75,000 almost crime scenes. I'm going to take this down just to 1000. I'm going to cheat a little bit, guys, but honestly, like, this takes a really, really, really long time on my laptop to finish. I need a powerful computer that I don't have access to. Maybe NYPD has that. Hopefully they have that. I don't have that. So I'm just going to take the first 1000 so I can slice through this and deliver some type of solution. If I tried to do this for all 75,000, this thing would be running for days and it would probably never even finish and probably crash or um, who knows what. But I don't want to wait for 3 or 4 days or even more. I can't even tell how long it's going to take. So I'm going to get something done and be efficient and scale down to just 1,000. But I'm going to get a result and deliver something. I'll have a deliverable that can show Mayor Adams, okay, if this runs for 24 hours or 48 or 72 hours and I have nothing to show, then nothing's happening, right? Nothing's getting done. Nothing is getting solved. If I can solve 1,000 um, of these records or identify 1,000 records and gain insight from 1,000, there's still almost 74,000 to go, but at least I have 1,000 done. At least I have something. This is doing a reverse geocoding right here and getting a location based on this lat long coordinate. So this is pretty cool. I have another video how to do geolocations and reverse geolocations. This comes from a library called Nami Natim. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure. But it takes about 1 second to get one record filled in. So you can see it would take at least 74,000 seconds to get all these on my computer. And yeah, again, if I had a super fast network of clustered computers and I could knock this out in a couple of minutes, I would do that, but I don't have that, right? So this is the next best thing. I'll just get 1,000. It's better than nothing. So this is reverse geocoding with these coordinates. I can go ahead and assign a location. That's what I'm doing. I'm appending location onto this data frame. And it comes from this. I can clean this up a little bit. Some people like to put it on the next line. It depends. If it goes really far off to the right, I'll put it onto the next line. Whether you use this convention right here or this convention, doesn't even matter because Python will just ignore all the white space. I prefer this a little bit better if it's on one line. Some people like 2 lines, so I like one. So yes, so now we have the group. This is just the ID, the offense description. So this isn't super important. This is important. Crime count is important. Total crime count. So everything that matches this lat long coordinate, you can see here, if you look visually, all of these will match, right? And this is the actual address. So we derived that using the reverse geocoding method right there. So we have our location, so we don't have to tell NYPD, hey, go to latitude 40.750.423, comma, -7398928, whatever the heck that is. Just say, guys, just go to 130 West 34th Street. That's Koreatown, Chelsea District. Boom, they're on it. They're gone. There's 336 crimes committed in recent times. So we know there's a high concentration of crimes in that area. If we dispatch NYPD to the area, we can prevent a lot of crime and potentially solve a lot of crime, right? Here's the full address. Now I've got the full address. So Koreatown, New York, New York. Here's the zip code 1001. That sounds like the first zip code ever invented. And we are in the United States, of course. So this is the most important thing. Take the NYPD, dispatch however many police you think it takes to handle. Now, this is historical. We're not going to have 336 crimes committed today or tonight after 8 p.m. We saw that was the trend, right? But I mean, we can negotiate this. Maybe it's half a dozen cops, maybe it's a dozen cops. That is the highest location of crimes that we can identify in this data set. So that should be the focus for the NYPD going forward, okay? That's the head. We're looking at the head. We're sorting this in descending order with a rank of 1. Remember, we assigned a rank back here. I have to go find it. Now I don't know where it went. Come back here a little bit. Oh, here. Okay, so here's the ranking. Sorry. Here's the ranking. There's a bunch of them, so let me eliminate any confusion. It comes from this. This right here, dot rank, does all the ranking for us. Okay, so that's how we get these ranks, and it's based on these counts right here. And again, this is the physical location. Here's the lat long coordinates. If that helps you, it doesn't help me too much, but I can use that to get this. Okay, so we're in good shape now. We have the head. This is the tail. Now we have ranking of 51. So we see already the rank dropped from 1 down to 2. So we have 336 crimes here. That's the sum of all of these guys over here. So 47, 1, 224, la, 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 down to here. Then we have the second rank, 19, 15, and those sum up to 261. So those are the heads. Those are the most important. places to focus the effort for the NYPD. This is rank 51, so much lower rank. We only have 58 crimes compared to 261 or 336 over here. So now we don't need so many cops. Maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe. And this is the location 450 police officer, Tremont, Bronx. So if I put that into Google Maps, let me just see what this thing looks like. Maps. I'm always curious to see maps. I love maps. I love looking at maps and seeing what's there. Okay, so Mr. Google will take us over there, hopefully. Okay, and this is it. That's it right there. So that is that street location. Police officer Jill Garcia Place. So that's interesting. Are crimes being committed there directly in front of the police officer? Maybe not. Maybe this is where the paperwork is being filled out. 450 police officer Jill Garcia Place. That seems like it's a data quality issue. I think this should be where the crime is committed. So already we can see a process where we can improve these metrics right here. This makes sense, 130 West 34th Street, Koreatown, unless that's another police station, unless that's how they do it. They just list the police station closest to where the crimes occur. They should be listing the location where the crime occurs. So that's, I think, where most of this happens, but there could be an anomaly here. This could be a misnomer over here. I'm not sure. I mean, you'd have to talk to somebody that produced this data set and get a little more insight into this. Now, the last thing I'm going to do here is take everything and plot this on the Folium map. Again, you don't have to worry about all the code. It's a little bit convoluted here, but it's not too bad. I was playing around with this yesterday. Essentially, we create a Folium map. If I go here, Folium, is that folium.com now? Just give me a second here. Folium. No, I don't want Bing. I want Google. Google's still better than Bing. Probably always will be Folium maps. And then here's Folium documentation. Okay, so this is good. If you have some free time later today or later this week, take a look. Okay, don't look at that one. That's nothing. Okay, here comes Folium map. So they're going to give you a lot of detailed information. It's rich, very insightful, very mature type of mapping tool here. And they have all kinds of cool, interesting, fun things you could do. This is like geography, color coded. You can put all kinds of markers on these maps, interactive maps, Folium. Let's take a quick look at this. Is this useful or not? Sometimes you just have to hunt and peck around for these things and see. Okay, so here's map marking points. Okay, you can create a heat map down here. So here's a heat map. So there's all kinds of really cool things you can do with these Folium maps. Here's clustered maps. If you zoom in, these actually explode out into different clusters. And if you zoom out, then they will coalesce into clusters, right? So here we have 35, but if you zoom in, then you have clusters and subclusters. So that's really cool. Oh, shoot. Did I lose my thing here? Shoot. Clicked the wrong thing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I thought I clicked that map thing over there. Clicked on the wrong thing. Okay, hopefully we didn't lose everything. I think this is all saved. Sorry, that was my mistake there. So that you rush into it, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? Okay, so I think everything was restored. Let's go back to where we were before. Down here, we saw that. There's our maps. Okay, there's our heat map. This is what I want to show you with Folium maps. So I would encourage you to go ahead and explore Folium and see how that works. What I'm doing here is taking the offense description, splitting it by comma. So I did this last night. It took a little testing and a little sort of like coalescing to get everything to work out. Once you split this, you can have a line break and present everything on the map by location, total crime count. This comes from here. If I do Control F, crime count comes from here. This is a total count, right? This is a description. And then we're taking the offense list and splitting that based on commas, right? So comma delimited to come up with the offense list. And when we plot everything, we get this down here. I can zoom into my Folium map and you see all this, the location, the total crime count 336. And if I click on it, we'll get everything listed vertically with all of the types of crimes here. So this is easy to read. You know the crime count and you know the location. This is Koreatown, I think 130 West 31st or whatever that thing was. Let me go back and see what that thing said. 130 West 34th. Okay. West 34th. So dispatch half dozen or a dozen police officers to this location. This is the highest count of crimes based on the data that we saw. Here's another crime count. And if I click on this, we can see the list here. Actually, more variety of crimes, but lower count. So 153 versus what was that, 330, 340, something like that. And if we go over here, we'll see another crime count. Here's one over here. And we see only one, two, three, only 5 types of crimes, but 89 total crimes in this location. Okay, so we could send some police officers over here, just north of Columbus Circle. So anyways, we took a lot of data, distilled that into a ranking of where are the most frequent counts of crimes, right, based on the frequency or the overall counts of crimes, and then plotted everything on the Folium map so we could see in detail the location of those crimes. And then when I click on it, we see the exploded list vertically, right? Everything is listed out for us with the number of crimes, the location, the types of crimes, and the map over here. You can see if you just put the mouse over, it goes horizontal, comma delimited, but when you click on it, you have all of the easy to read vertical arrangement of all those crimes. That comes from, again, over here, the offense list. When you click in this tooltip, it pops up. So to be ideal, I played around with this, I didn't get it going. Here's the horizontal list. If I put the mouse over, you see petty larceny, other state laws, non-penal law. So when you just mouse over it, it goes horizontal. When you click on it, it goes vertical. And that's what you see here. So I'm not a professional coder. I'm just a hacker. Been doing this a long time, but I never even took a course in computer programming in my whole life. I just read a whole bunch of books and just learned hands-on. So it would be interesting to see when you mouse over it to get that list vertical. I couldn't figure out how to do that. When you click on it, I could get it vertical because that comes from here, right? That's the tooltip. But when you do the mouse over, I'm not sure where that's even coming from. I spent a lot of time on this yesterday. I'm not going to spend any more time, but I think we got 99% of the way there. It came out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with the overall outcome here. So I'm going to go ahead and download the HTML file. I'll do it right now, and I will share the video with all the source code with you guys in just a bit. As soon as I have a chance, I'll post it on YouTube, and you can download the file, get in there, explore the data, and analyze it for yourself, and make some enhancements, some improvements, and see how you get along. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have some feedback, post it in the comments. If you'd like to see something similar to this but different, then go ahead and put that in the comment too, and I'll take a look at that stuff whenever I have a chance. If I can get to that, I'll swing back maybe later this week. If you have comments, let me know, and I'll try to address those issues or those comments or those concerns. That's it, guys. Wrapping up right now. Thanks for your time. Take care. Goodbye.